All right, troops, welcome to the Action Elite. My name is Owen. How you doing, guys?
Hey,
Hey,
Good.
Hey. So tonight we are going back to 1989 to talk Tango and Cash with Sylvester Stallone and Kurt Russell, and this is probably going to be one of those boring streams because I think we're probably all just going to be singing the praises of it. But I'll come up with some stuff to say. I mean, who knows? Yeah, maybe we all didn't love it. I watched it last night. And I had actually watched it for a couple of years. I admittedly fell asleep and then had to watch the rest of it later on, but that was because of the time change, not because of the movie. But I do enjoy the movie. Like, is it sort of cheesy? Sure, but that's the whole charm of it. It's just the movie's just like pure joy. It's like a warm hug reuniting with friends. I mean, Stallone and Kurt Russell are just like the most likable duo. And I was like, I would have watched 5 Tango and Cash films. I would have loved to see this guy just do so many more movies there, just because they're just such a fun duo. And you got a great cast. You got like Terry Hatcher, you got James Hong, Brian James, Jack Palance, Jeffrey Lewis with maybe the worst hairpiece of all time, and then Robert Zadar with the best supporting chin. So yeah, that was great. And then is it even an 80s action movie if like James Hong isn't in it? I mean, James Hong needed to be in your movie for it to really be any good. I didn't know this until I was like reading about this time that apparently like Billy Blanks and Benedict Arquez are in like the prison scene as thugs.
I saw Billy Blanks today.
sure.
Yep.
yes, I did too. Yeah,
They're in the basement where they've captured them in the prison.
That's what I thought. Yeah,
and they're all and it's Robert Zadar, and if you look over his shoulder, it's Billy Blanks. Just you can see the fucking haircut.
Yeah,
that 80s haircut that he had. Yeah,
Depending on your brightness and contrast, you might just see his eyes.
Oh.
What are you talking about? It's true. I'll stop it.
he is not affiliated with the Action Elite in any way.
Views
of
comments do not reflect the Action Elite or anybody else. Charlie left he's gone.
Charlie's making his making a black dot. Charlie.
Yeah. Oh. Spicy.
You also got
what's a little drama, right? Like,
I've seen all the next movies in the theaters, boys. So you need to relax. I was there from day one for Billy Blanks.
Yeah, so just to be honest, great score by Harold Faltermeyer. A little tune there. I was actually just listening to it today. And then director Andy Konchalovsky. I'll try and before that.
We were talking before. There's 4 directors.
Konchalovsky. Yeah. But he also helmed Runaway Train from Cannon. That was an awesome little movie too. So, yeah, but this is a fun movie. I love Kurt Russell's gun with like the laser sighting. Just while I remember, right, I think I brought this up before, and nobody's ever been able to tell me this. What's the movie I'm thinking of? I think it's like an 80s or 90s action movie. John, you might know this. And there's one. I think it's a buddy movie, and one of them has a gun with a laser sight, and the other guy makes fun of him all the time for not being able to aim because he has a laser sight on the gun.
Oh fuck!
Like, it rings a bell to me. I thought it was Gunman, but I don't think so.
Is it I Come in Peace?
I don't think so.
No, there's no laser sight in the I Come in Peace gun, but that gun is in this movie at the end.
Yeah.
Someone's using it. Shit, that sounds super familiar.
I remember what you're saying, but yeah, I'm embarrassed because
I would have said Tango and Cash if you'd asked me.
I thought it was too, and I was watching it and I was waiting for it, and then it didn't happen. And I was like, okay, so it's not this.
Because
it's not that one.
He has a laser on the fucking rifle at the end of the movie. It's like, where did that come from?
Those rifles were bad. I wanted to see more of those rifles they used at the end of the movie and more. Those things were huge.
They got into the sci-fi armory at the end.
Oh my god, it was fucking awesome.
Oh yeah, I love the truck at the end of the car, a souped up car, and everything. As a kid, I was like, I need to have that. And I was like, why is that not mine? And also, the guy who built his name is Owen.
Yep,
so that's awesome. Yeah, well played. Yeah, great action, lots of explosions, good fight scenes. I don't know. There's not too much I can say that I dislike about this movie, so I'm not going to say anything else. So rather than going last, Jay, you go first.
Well, I really like this movie, obviously. I like the music. Like everybody that has a speaking role is somebody, like almost like everybody that talks here. Oh, there's that. Even if you don't know the names, it's like, that's the movie, right? Like even the other guy, I think his name is Mark Alameo or whatever, Alameo something. He plays Gul Dukat in Star Trek Deep Space Nine. He's the damn best.
Did you catch Shabadoo?
Yeah,
I don't know.
From Breaking.
Oh my god!
In the
my God, no, I did not.
Yeah, everybody is somebody in
Yeah,
this.
but everybody that says dialogue is somebody that's like, oh, it's that guy, right? So that's good. I like the two of them making fun of each other. The Rambo's a pussy thing is funny.
Yeah.
I'm surprised there wasn't like a Snake Plissken or something. Like I thought they were going to
They
do
should
something like that.
Yeah.
They could have really made a bunch of these. It's so easy to make this movie. This is like one of those no-brainer movies where someone was sitting around saying, hey, why don't you just have Stallone and Kurt Russell team up? Someone's like, holy shit, yeah, like we got to make that movie. Like
a rad car at the end with guns on it. Like, fuck yeah.
Yeah, and the guy and that Owen guy, that's the guy from Sleepaway Camp 3, Sweet Pea, Sweet Pea.
Sweet Pea. Yeah.
He was Booker and I Come in Peace, as we talked about.
Yeah.
That. So
He's in every movie. Like you're sitting there like, wow, it's that guy. Oh, it's that guy. It's that guy. It's that guy. It's that guy. You're like, oh my God, it's everybody that has dialogue. Not since True Romance came after, I think, but that was like same with that movie. It's like everybody that speaks is somebody. It's like, so yeah, I don't know. There's not really a lot of negative things to say. I watched Siskel and Ebert's review. They weren't dying over it, but I think they missed the point of it, which is to have those two guys together in this kind of movie. Usually when there's a buddy cop movie, there's always one guy who's either just a little bit of the bigger star and also right like even Bad Boys, it's Will Smith. Like it's kind of like right. And obviously Danny Glover and Mel Gibson, but it's always like, well, Mel Gibson's the action kind of guy. You know what I mean? But in this one, they're both equal. It's like two Mel Gibsons.
Yeah.
Right. Like that's the cool part about it. It's like, it's not just like, oh, you got the one, and they try to make Stallone the smarter action guy, but I like that he's the smarter action guy. And then the other guy's just what? Another action guy. It's like they're both like action guys.
He's the rough and tumble action.
Yeah, he's the rough and chaotic action. I like that they're like in the newspaper, and then they he flips the news. First of all, like no, these reports would never be in any newspaper.
Yeah, this would never happen in real life whatsoever. It's pure movie stuff.
It's pure movie.
It was only missing the newspaper spinning around and landing on the screen.
With the music.
There's like zero investigation. They're immediately incarcerated.
Yeah.
Like this prison is hell on earth. Nobody checks or does anything. It's just automatically whatever
the
in
most
there.
decorated cops ever, and
they're
guilty.
There's no way they're going to jail either. I mean, we know it's rigged. Like the whole point is that it's rigged or whatever. But if this guy is so high up that he can rig all this, why is anyone onto him anyways? Like it's one of these. Like it doesn't make any sense anyways.
Well,
the loose cannon.
Okay, you have an answer. Okay, well you can answer. I mean, I don't. Look, the answer is fine. I don't care if it's right or wrong. Anyways, it doesn't matter to me because like the point of this movie is to have them to be awesome, and they're awesome.
Job done.
That's it. I got nothing else to say. And yes, Jimmy, we did notice, and someone on this panel made an offside comment, so you can go back and check out the stream to see who that was.
He is now canceled.
Yeah, he's canceled. Yeah.
Hey FK, how's it going, man? Thanks for popping in. Wolverine's here. And Jimmy's here.
I agree. It definitely should have been the next big franchise, though. I was so surprised that didn't get a sequel. What was the box office for it? Was it a hit?
It was like 150 million or something.
That should be
astronomical.
Like 52 million. It made money, but
yeah. It was a box office hit. There is a reason why it didn't become a franchise, and it's all behind the scenes BS.
Oh, we were talking about that before the camera started rolling.
Yeah.
Oh, really? I missed that.
Well, there's like 4 directors they went through on this movie. They
3 directors of photography.
Stallone fired Barry Sonnenfeld because he didn't think he lit him right. Like Men in Black, Barry Sonnenfeld.
Wow,
it's like
there was a lot behind.
Did you guys?
That explains the Billy Blanks problem. You see, it's true. It's true.
He's like, you know what? You didn't like Billy up good enough. You're fired.
You can't see him in the back there.
Oh, Wolverine! I heard that Kurt Russell hated this movie. Yeah. I've noticed that they've never worked together since, and like Kurt hasn't been in a big rush to be in the Expendables, and if anybody should have been in the Expendables movies, Kurt Russell should have been. So I don't know if maybe he and Sly aren't quite great friends in real life or not. I don't know.
You never know like what you read on this stuff, but it did say that Stallone had offered him the role of Church, and he turned it down.
And then he gave it to Bruce Willis. Yeah.
So it's like, I mean, Maybe, maybe not. We don't know. I mean, we like Stallone. He's a great guy, but we also hear stories he's probably not the greatest guy to actually work around.
Well, he said Kurt
Yeah.
Russell said that he didn't have enough screen time in Expendables. That's why he didn't take it, because it was like that bit small role, and he didn't want
Well,
to.
it's the point. It was a bit role. It's like, hey, here's Kurt
It's a
Russell.
cameo.
It's,
Yeah.
I know.
You know, that's all it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Right.
When you work on a troubled production, though, that sort of taints you. You don't really want to, there's almost like an association with it then, where you're like kind of like the actors and that. You're like, I don't really want to work with them because I didn't have a great experience.
Mhm.
I heard Russell was a complete professional on this, and him and Stallone didn't butt heads. It's just that Stallone was in too deep with this production, and he became everything with the production as he is wont to do at times. And it just, I think it just tainted it for everyone. No one ended up like really working together again. So
Yeah.
Jack Palance even said, like, I was excited to do it because I wanted to work with Stallone. And then they wrote out all of the
They cut all his scenes with Stallone out. Yeah,
he was supposed to have like one-on-one, or at least be in the same room as Stallone. And he's like, so I'm just fucking there. He
With
didn't
Yeah,
the
I did
rats.
think that was a little underwhelming the way he sort of done away with it at the end, and I was like, well,
Yeah.
what, that's it? Yeah.
yeah, in the Hall of Mirrors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, how'd you know which one to shoot because of whatever fake reason they gave? And it's
The,
like,
the monogram
That
and
was
the
clever,
ring.
man. I don't know.
Look, this movie is The Odd Couple, but an action
Yeah.
movie is what this is.
exactly.
Exactly.
Anyway, Steve, while you're talking, then, do you want to have any thoughts we haven't had already?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really see this one when it came out. It came out in '89 around Christmas time. I was 12. Wasn't really in a position where I could influence my parents at that point to take me to anything that wasn't obviously a children or a young adolescent movie at that point. So I missed this one until my good friend Owen got me the Stallone Blu-ray pack, which was awesome, and I finally saw this movie for the first time. So I got to revisit it for this stream, and it's awesome. Like it's so much fun. But I find the behind the scenes talk about it so bizarre because it seemed to have been a really troubled, problematic, production. Like they got wet prints, like basically meaning they barely got it out for production. I think they had 8 weeks to edit after it was done because they kept firing people. Brian James talked a lot about this movie, and first of all, Brian James in a Cockney accent, never thought I would ever see.
Yeah.
Definitely gone too soon. R.I.P. Brian.
Oh, yeah. Brian James was, how they have resting bitch face? He's got resting outrage face. Like he always looks like his eyes are always
He's about to explode. Yeah.
He always looks ready to like punch someone. He is like when he came out of the womb, immediately the doctor's like, this guy's got to be a villain in that.
Yeah.
Like he is.
Your path has been forged, my son.
So good at that. And having Robert Zadar there, I'm like, oh, Maniac Cop. I don't want him after me, even though he's not the Maniac Cop. And even though he's not Matt Cordell in this movie, I still wouldn't want him after me. Terry Hatcher, I mean, what more can I say?
In her prime, no less.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, like, holy cow. I wonder if she was late to the set all the time for this one, like she was for the Bond picture that apparently pissed off Pierce Brosnan. I mean, everyone is in this movie. I sort of feel like this sort of movie needs a very physical villain. I want to see a fight, like an actual physical fight at the end. And when you see Jack Palance, and he's like 70, and you're like, that's not happening.
No. It should have been like Arnold or something, or something like that, and like the two of them have to like team up to fight this like fucking huge guy at the end.
Yeah, I mean, I want a physical fight at the end of this because it is a very physical movie. There's a lot of action, and they are the odd couple. It's weird for me to see Stallone as the straight man, which he basically is. Like he's more of the button up, straight laced cop, and Russell's more of the over the top, a little bit psychotic, cop. So I thought that was like interesting because you never see that with Stallone. He's not usually in comedy. And after Stop or My Mom Will Shoot, you sort of hope he never goes into comedy again. But yeah, this was a really fun picture. Unfortunately, it got nailed by John Peters, who seemed to have been his usual psychotic self and really hurt the production badly, from what I can tell, with his insanity. And if you don't know who John Peters is, watch a Kevin Smith conversation about Superman Lives. That's all you need to know about John Peters. He started out his career as Barbara Streisand's hairdresser, and of course, in Hollywood, that means you're automatically qualified to be a film producer. What can I say? It's Hollywood. This movie has a lot of I mean, it's a sort of movie where everyone is someone. Like, I love that the Total Recall guy is there. You know, I love that I think it's Louis Arquette is in it. Clint Howard's in it as
Slinky,
Kurt Russell's bunkmate.
Slinky guy.
And he looks 60 even back then. I think
Yeah,
he's
he
now
looks,
60, like officially 60, but he looks 60 back then to me. Like, why does this man look so old? He's like 30 years old and he looks 60. Yeah, it's a really fun film. And I mean, if you've had a hard day at work or you've just had that conversation that's pissed you off and you want something to make you smile again, this is a good movie to turn to.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, like I said, it's like reuniting with old friends, like that warm hug or whatever. Because this past week for me has been shit, and being able to watch that last night was just amazing. So I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Can I say something about the giant spider for a second?
Yeah.
Because I don't understand this. Okay, I'd love to see Superman fight a giant spider. I'm not sure why this became a big like, oh, how stupid is that? Because I mean, if you're reading Superman comics like I read all the time, they fight giant crap all the time. I just read Wonder Woman fighting a giant dragon. Week before that, she fought a giant space serpent. Like
they fought a giant starfish, dude. Like
like I don't. Why is that like a bad thing?
It's because of his insistence on it. It's just funny because
Right.
it ended up being in Wild Wild West, right?
Yeah.
Right. And let's face the facts. That was awesome in that. I was like, that was the best part of this movie.
that's like the
just
second
funny,
best
that's
thing
all.
in that movie. The rest of the movie sucks.
I think
That was the only good part.
He kept telling Kevin Smith that he went to his kid's school or something like that, and they were talking about insects, and the teacher was like, the spider is the most fearsome creature in this insect kingdom. And so he kept saying that over and over again. It's just a funny thing. I'm okay with Spider-Man. It was Superman, fighting. I think it was Brainiac melds with a big spider, and then he fights a Brainiac spider or something like that. That would have been cool.
No,
any Brainiac would have been cool. Anyway,
it was because he kept insisting. It was the story behind the giant spider. Like he kept. And it wasn't just a spider. He kept alluding to other things that you would have learned through the Nature Channel, right? Like, and that's what Kevin Smith said. He's like, this guy has too much access to, the Nature Network or whatever. That's the funny thing is why, he kept insisting other animals, like the polar bear. The
polar bears that there are statues of polar bears.
The polar bears are the most, dangerous predator. Like, how would you know that? Like,
I watched Roadhouse. The polar bear fell on me. That's exactly why I know polar bears are most dangerous.
Just going back, just while I remember, which we haven't brought up yet, you get to see Kurt Russell in drag.
Yes.
Yeah.
I remember the first time I saw that, I was like, what the hell?
Now it's hilarious. Now you're just like, he's actually pulling it off. He gets hit on by a cop. It's like.
Good on him though for like being able to do that though, and like being able to like sort of make fun of himself and whatever. And he doesn't take himself too seriously, and I love that because I would have seen Stallone doing that.
But they were both. You saw their butts though. That was
in a hilarious shower scene. Oh yeah.
You can quit sucking it in now, Cash.
Yeah.
I know, like, but that's one thing that's sadly missing in modern action movies is like awesome vehicles. With like souped up things like I love Delta Force where you got the motorbike fires missiles.
Don't get me started on Delta Force.
The blue light dune buggies, man. Fucking love those things. The monster truck at the end of this they confirmed it's Bigfoot. They painted it a different color. The owner of Bigfoot said, "Oh yeah, that was us. We just didn't do any of the blue, but that's actually cool. The giant one running around. Like all of them are lifted." But the big one, that was Bigfoot.
Oh wow,
that's badass.
Yes.
Yeah, there's a lot of dumb stuff in that movie, but everyone harps on the giant spider. So I'm saying the giant spider is cool. The rest of the stuff, him in black and using gadgets, is not cool.
But then they did an entire television show of Superman not flying. So,
right. Or having a costume.
He jumped
or being
really
Superman.
far, though. I mean,
yeah, eventually.
He jumps really far.
It only took him 10 years. Come on.
That's all. That's all.
Jeez.
I like
anyway, Sean, what are your thoughts on Tango Cash?
Yeah, I grew up on this, and also, and I'm trying to think back at how they did this. It was on TV a lot, so all the boob shots are gone in the TV
Not my version.
I think I only ever saw it on TV. I don't think I ever rented it because it was always on TV. So when I got the DVD of it, I was like, oh shoot, there's boobs in this. Okay,
5 stars.
It's sort of like Trading Places. Like, I didn't know there was nudity in that thing either. So, yeah, look, of course this is awesome. It is the 80s. Now we're learning Bigfoot's in it. Like, good God, who's not in this movie? Raise your
He was not in it. That's the only guy they missed. He was away that day.
Ozone's in it. Like, well, what the hell, man? Yeah, it's pretty awesome, and I love the Legion of Bullshit. It's like there's this like every great journeyman villain actor is the villain in this thing. It's like, Jack Palance is overseeing this big office with like every dude. It's like
and he's got his rats.
I just watching this now, I can be critical of it because look, it's awesome and like everyone's in it and there's a supercar and all. It's like it's the stereotype of I guess what people think of when they think of 80s action movies, right? It's the kind of thing that the Last Action Hero probably was making fun of, right? But watching it now, it does look half baked. Like you could tell, there's probably trouble behind the scenes because it's like Stallone's character is weird. I get what it's supposed to be. He's supposed to be a big erudite guy, but he's also a mega action man. And the very first time you see him, it's all of the action stereotypes. And like, he stands in place while the car is like, he's shooting at it and it stops, right? And all that stuff. And like he's arguing with everyone and he nonchalantly shoots at the tank. And of course, like cocaine comes out, like he knew that was going to happen. Yeah. And later on, he makes fun of Cash for being like a reckless cowboy. And it's like, yeah, but we just saw a whole scene where you were that. So is this supposed to be funny or what is it? Like, and I would like to have seen more of the erudite character. I mean, like that suit gets taken off in 1 second, and then he's basically Stallone. Like jamming that fan and all that stuff, right? And later on, they sort of allude to the idea that they've known each other for 15 years. I didn't even get that from like the intro and all that. I just see that they're competitors, and that's it. I don't really know what their relationship is. Like if they made sequels that would have fleshed that out more. But also I feel like there's just like scenes and tableaus that would have been maybe a minute or something where you get to see more of this. But those are minor gripes. I mean, this is like super. The only thing I'll say is that when I was a kid, I didn't remember a lot of this movie except for the prison. To me, that it seared my mind because it's more focused. They're in prison, they gotta get out, and then they have to go on those zip lines or whatever. And like just using their belts or whatever, and everything else is just like a blur of action, and it's awesome. But like when I thought back to it as a kid, I didn't really remember what happened other than the prison and all that stuff. Also watching it now, there's a lot of video game-ish type. It just seems like it's the language of video games now, right? Where when they're escaping the prison, there's like an obstacle and another obstacle, like they have to go around the electricity and all that stuff, and then there's the big thing they have to do, and there's an establishing shot of like the line, and the line has like mega sparks coming out of it that aren't there when they're actually on it.
Somebody call the electric company. If your electric lines are sparking when it rains, you've got to.
That's not problem. Okay.
It's a problem.
Good.
Yeah, but yeah, there's a lot of that kind of thing in there, which to me is a hallmark of a good action movie because like it sort of predates the action language of video games. There's a movie just a little off topic. There's a movie called 3 the Hard Way. J-Man knows this. Steve saw it.
Yeah.
It's
Fred Williamson in it.
blaxploitation movie.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Oh yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah. It's a blaxploitation movie, but like every action scene is set up like they do a pan of the entire scene of all the villains, and then the guy has to scroll right and fight all the guys. And it's made in like the 70s or something. It's so weird. Anyways, yeah, this is awesome. I don't know what it would have been if it were a more focused production. You could see like that it would have been a bit more more of Stallone being himself, like more of the differences between the two, rather than they're just in action mode all of a sudden because of the prison, all that stuff. Jack Palance is awesome because he's Jack Palance. I would like to have seen more of him in this movie. He is in the prison in Shadow with Stallone, but I don't know if they shot that apart or something like that. But I mean, he's not really being Jack Palance enough for me. I always go back to Believe It or Not, where he's I love that.
He was come on. He was like, the guys.
He's doing some of the
number one.
I kept waiting for the Batman Jack Palance.
He always talks
That's
like
what
he's
I
out of
was.
breath. He's like,
Yeah.
Yeah. When he has to turn off that converter, he goes like this. Like you can't just like
that's good. Nobody does it that way. It physically doesn't work like that. Like you'll eventually have to aim better than do it.
Yeah. I don't remember if they paid off the rats or like the mice he has or something. It's just a thing he has. I don't know.
Okay, that was the best. He ordered special rats to put in this maze to illustrate. It's like power. See, today they would have used PowerPoint, but back then they had to use rats and build a maze and all that.
But he built a maze.
He built that himself.
Yeah.
They weren't going to put that scene in there, but he built that scene. He was like, "I have this," and they're like, "We can't say no to him." He's
Jack Palance.
Some people do trains. Jack Palance has little mazes for rats to run around in.
I guess he did Batman right after this, because Batman was released in '89.
Same year.
Same year, actually, probably concurrent. I mean,
he wasn't in each movie that much, so he probably did.
This was December.
Yeah, this is Zach.
Okay.
Tango Cash is the last release of the 80s.
Yeah.
Like this was the last movie to come out in the 80s.
That's why everyone's in it, man. Just saying goodbye.
It kind of is when you look at it like that.
Yeah, no, it's cool. Yeah, no, that really puts it in perspective. But anyways, yeah, it's awesome. I don't think it'll be appreciated today. I think you have to be there. But yeah, it's pretty cool. It's like just a little bit off topic as well. It's like Action Jackson. Whenever I tell people that's awesome, they're like, "Well, he drives up the stairs." I'm like, "I know, but they had to rig it to do that. They know it's fake. It's just awesome to do, right?" Yeah. He drives into the master bedroom or whatever.
They did it in Fast and Furious. Action Jackson did it first.
Movie.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like Fast and Furious. They go to space. It's like, shut up.
They drive up a freaking skyscraper and then jump the skyscraper. Fuck off. Let Action Jackson.
Yeah, there's a car a vine.
Cherry 2000 swings a fucking Mustang with a crane, okay? We fucking love car shit.
Yeah, those movies, all that stuff killed James Bond, right? Because after you see all this weird stuff, you're like, James Bond, that's what James Bond was for. It was like realistically fantastical. Like just off reality a bit. Like I guess
there's still a little weight to it, but you're also suspending a little disbelief.
Yeah. Actually, I feel the stairs in Action Jackson's like, maybe. I don't know. Maybe it can happen. I'm not sure. You know, like you stop that. Like Fast and Furious, like right. You're like,
we're going this way. Yeah, we can outrun a submarine. It's totally cool. We got it.
Yeah, but Action Jackson, I felt like you're like, and then your friend would be, I don't think so. Maybe I don't know. It's like one of those. But anyway,
yeah.
I gotta say, shout out to this movie for the gratuitous boob shot at the beginning when in the parking lot. It's like it adds absolutely nothing to the story. It's like just after Kurt Russell's chasing after the guy, and then just having sex. And oh look, and you're like, oh look. So, best thing ever. Yeah, and then also when I was watching it last night, I was like, Kurt Russell gets shot twice. And like he's wearing a bulletproof vest. I'm like, you're at least going to be winded for a good while before getting up and giving chase for this guy. Like he'd been fucking shot twice.
They showed he was bruised, and he doesn't act like he's bruised at all.
No, he's like, oh, it's fine. And I'm like, Yeah, I mean, they're total cartoon characters. It's like 80s cartoon characters where they're just like the invincible badasses and whatever. And, that's just part of the fun of it. You either go along for the ride or you don't.
You're literally taking the words out of my mouth when it was coming my turn. Is if you take the boobs and the language out, you could animate this fucking movie and it'd be the greatest Saturday morning cartoon show, because Jack Palance is basically like Dr. Claw hiding into fucking shadows. They don't know who he is, period. Like, he could have showed his face and they'd have been like, who the fuck is that guy? I don't know who you are. But the way they act with each other, to animate these guys, put them in these wild scenarios every week. We could have started from the beginning, then the prison for a couple episodes, and then the end for a couple. One season, this would have been a perfect fucking cartoon. And that's how it reads now. I love this movie, but it reads as a fucking cartoon.
Oh, totally, yeah. Well, Charlie, you might as well continue. Well, what else do you say about it?
No, you're fine. I'm sick, guys. Sorry. I won't take up too much time. No, I love this movie. I've watched it. I think, like Sean, I watched it on television first. So it's just one of those like WGN, whatever, playing in the afternoon. And this is an action movie made for a 12-year-old boy. You give me guns, insane, like, camaraderie between the two leads, and then they are fighting with each other. Then you're gonna give me badass weaponry. Basically, you give me Q in the middle of this movie where they're showing off the senior retirement home guard dog, stuffed fucking Doberman with a gun barrel coming out of its head. No fucking reason for this to be in here, and it's hilarious. I still love it. It's a movie of just every cliche, and I'm wondering why they just didn't lay into it and make it a satirical, like Last Action Hero. Like, just go into it. Say this is what we love, but we're going to make fun of our own genre as we go through this. It's like they're still trying to make a serious one. And I read that was one of the reasons one of the other producers got fired was Universal didn't want it to be serious. And so they wanted it to be funny and lighthearted, and everyone else is like, it's an action movie. You got Stallone, you got Kurt Russell, all these great guys. Make it gritty, make it dark, make it bloody. And you're like, no, we want to have fun with it. And you get that disconnect, especially watching it now, as a 40-year-old fan of action movies. But I still love it, man. It's still Kurt Russell and Stallone on the screen together. I believe it. I believe their friendship, their bond. Terry Hatcher was always hot to me. I grew up watching her on MacGyver. She was Penny Parker in those, and I think she did that before she did this one. And just seeing her grow up, she's hot. I love that scene where she's like trying to. I still don't know what she was doing on him on the couch. It's like it's almost in. I'm like, did he slip a disc? What is going on?
And why is she winning? Why is she enjoying it?
Right.
Yeah.
Deeper.
Her dialogue doesn't match what could happen. Like, what are you doing that you're saying this line of dialogue? Again, it's like teenage kid humor.
Kurt Russell was yelling deeper. I'm like, that's not how that's supposed to work. Hold on.
He got really excited about slipping that disc back in because she was an ecstasy, man.
I like how she's real coy with Stallone. Like, what were you doing? It's like, wouldn't you like to know? Basically, it's just fucking hilarious. But I don't know. I like it. I do wish there was a better like fight villain at the end. Even give me like Brian James is an amazing henchman, but they blow him up. He barely gets a fight. I want a real good final.
We need more beatdowns for sure.
Need way more beatdowns. This is very put this out today without the boobs. Even with the violence, this probably would have only got like a PG-13.
Oh, easy. Yeah.
I mean, this isn't an R except for
Well, they say the F word a lot in it.
Well, I mean, you can probably cut that down a little bit.
Well, yeah,
if you were trying to go for, but as far as like violence on screen, even him trying to fuck with Brian James with the fake grenade at the beginning. I mean, it just felt very PG-13 kind of.
This is a PG movie. That Wolverine Deadpool, I just watched it again on the weekend. That's the most violent. That is worse than Terrifier 3.
Yeah,
I just watched Terrifier 3 and Deadpool and Wolverine. And how is Deadpool Wolverine rated R? It is worse than all the Friday 13th films put together for gore and like way worse than
cartoony gore though. It's not like
I don't know about being cartoony.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's a lot. It's not. I don't know. It's not if it's that cartoony. I just watched it again. I'm like, this is like. I love it. It's great, but like it's super violent. Like I don't know how that like Friday 13th is like a PG movie except for the nudity, I suppose. except versus Deadpool and Wolverine. Anyway,
No, and you're
this
right.
is like a G movie compared to that.
Oh yeah, this is like super tame. Like, I mean, once you're like okay with your kid seeing boobs, you immediately let them watch Tango and Cash.
Yeah,
It's like, here you go, watch this one. This will be fun. Especially when Cash goes into the prison cell and there's just nothing but naked chick pictures. I'm like, I don't think they're allowed to have that in prison.
Yeah,
Like,
see,
I don't think.
I'm like, I don't think they can have that.
Stallone's still wearing a fucking gold chain.
Yeah.
Going
Yeah,
into
they would have
prison.
taken that off of them. Yeah, they're
I'm
And
like,
like they're in the showers on their own without guards or whatever, and there's like
with
no one
all
else
the
there.
shower heads
Yeah.
on. Like, no, come on.
I
guys
think-
did
you
it
know
to
what?
Club
all
Med
the
one.
other guys showered.
I've seen that was in Bloodsport, and we made fun of that. I think for safety reasons, there's only one main control thing that turns them all on or turns them all off. I wonder if that's a thing. You reminded me. I actually made a note to check on that to see if that's a real thing or not. Like, can you individually turn off different? Because I've seen that in other movies now where all the showers are on. We saw it in Bloodsport too. It's like, why was there like? Remember, there's 3 showers going at once. Like, why
See,
is
I
there
always
3?
took it as he turned all 3 on to make more noise in Bloodsport, to muffle him escaping. Yeah, because he's like the dude's waiting on him, and there was only like 3 on, and the guy walks in and sees him. I don't know, you could be onto something, but it's definitely not like when Rambo got thrown into a local jailhouse and got fucking fire hosed and
Right.
deloused. This
Yeah.
was like Club Med all of a sudden on this one.
Actually, just see, Scottish geek guy, a fellow Scot like me. How you doing? We'd actually love to have you on a stream at some point. So you should subscribe to this guy's channel. He's a fan like us, grew up watching movies like this, and he's a fellow Scot. So we could just start talking, and none of you understand what the fuck we're talking about.
Can we get subtitles, J-Man? Can you get subtitles for
Yeah,
us?
you
for
can
that
get
one?
Yeah, I'll put some.
like what they did
Like
with,
the Killer
with Scott
Gang.
Atkins, and then
Yeah, just make
Killer
up
Gang.
You'll
shit.
do it the right way. You'll do it the right way. Unlike
Yeah.
exactly. Actually, speaking of which, just while I remember, so prepare yourself, guys, because in the next few weeks we're actually going to have girls on the show. Real live girls.
I'm
Yeah.
single now. You know that, right? Don't
Yeah.
do that to
So
I gotta get a permission slip.
It's not just someone with long
me.
hair,
Like, hey,
right?
do you
No,
wanna
no.
come
Is it
to
Kurt
Uh,
Russell
City
in drag?
Beach?
I mean,
It is. It's Kurt Russell and drag. No,
Alright.
Amanda and Antoinette from work. Amanda actually came up with this idea, and she's like, Batman Returns is one of her favorite movies, and she said, "Can you do a stream on Batman Returns so I can be on it?" And I was like, "Yes." And it's Christmas movie, so I said, "Well, we can do it in a few weeks when it's December, and we can just talk that." So Antoinette and Amanda are going to be joining us for that, so that should be fun.
Oh,
Well, it's a good thing I've memorized that movie and can do all the dialogue.
Same
So
here. Yeah, I mean, I know every single line, but
Long time.
I just
watch that.
I got the box set on 4K recently, which I haven't watched yet, so I'm going to give it a watch and catch up with it because it
the
has
best one is part 4 on 4K.
Batman and Robin.
yeah,
Yeah.
visually,
Yes.
yeah.
No,
Yes.
I've watched it for a while. I'm going to watch them all because, like, I find
Visually,
something to
yeah.
enjoy in all of them. Like, I always had a fun time with Batman and Robin because it's Arnie being Arnie with some of his just best.
I like it.
one-liners.
I like Batman. I like
I
Batman
do.
Forever. I mean, I enjoy
So do I.
all of them. I mean, seriously.
Yeah, so do I.
Yeah, I've
They're all
memorized
different. I don't
most
mind
of
them.
3 and 4 too.
Yeah.
Same here, yeah. So that'll be a good one. So we can all join that, particularly all you comic book guys, and don't make the girls cry with your knowledge.
I'll
It's
be we'll be
impossible.
nice.
I make everyone cry.
That's true. We cry on a regular basis. Every
I'll try to lessen it. Well, I love the movie, so we're okay.
We have a support group. Can we put that number up later for anyone that
Yeah.
was been affected
1-800.
by J-Man?
Yeah, I'll put it up for
That's
you.
it.
Yeah.
Well, I'm done anyway, so we can let John go.
Okay. Hold on a second, Johnny. I got the 4K steel from Batman. Yeah, I haven't actually watched any of them on 4K yet, so I'm definitely gonna just watch them all, just so they're all fresh in my mind. At walkitthefuckoff.com.
That's a support group for if you feel insulted, go to walk at the fuck.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I was just up. Yeah, let's kick some ice.
Yeah.
And I always say, "Stay cool, bird boy." I mean,
Good boy.
Everyone chill.
yeah,
Chill.
you're not sending me to the cooler. I mean, just everything Arnie says is iconic. But yeah, Scottish Geek Guy. Actually, next week we're going to be talking Land of Bad, with the Russell Crowe film. So I don't know if you want to join us, let us know, and I'll send you an invite. Anyway, sorry, John, you have the call.
Oh, what else can I mean, listen, okay, so like this was 89. So this is the last movie released in 89. So they're like, fuck it, let's put everything and the kitchen sink in this one. We'll just, you got comedy, you got action, you got big trucks. Fun fact, Patrick Swayze was going to be Cash, but he dropped out to do a little known movie called Roadhouse. So that was
he made the right choice.
Right? It's like exactly. Listen, and somebody told me, like, we were talking about Tango Cash. I forget who I was talking to, and they're like, "That's such a great guilty pleasure." I'm like, "What in the f are you talking about?" I never felt guilty watching Tango.
I fucking hate that term, guilty pleasure.
I never feel guilty about if I like a movie. Fuck you, I like the movie. You know, it's like, but oh my god, Tango Cash. I saw it in the theaters on opening weekend, and I was 16, 17. And it was right in my wheelhouse. I loved everything about. I think it's a perfect 80s action movie, even with the nitpicking. You can nitpick this movie, and there's a lot of shit. Stuart Baird should get an Oscar for editing because he had to edit this movie like 8,000 times because Warner Brothers kept giving it back to him and said, nope. So he had to hire another guy to come in and help him so that way they get it done. And they got it done a week before the release, just like Steven was saying. They got the wet print. They're like, here you go. And Warner Brothers is like, okay, we like this one. And you probably Stuart was probably like, okay, I'm gonna take a vacation now. But like Stallone, I love Stallone's character. Somebody was saying it was kind of weird, but I loved how he probably loved doing this movie because he was out of character because he was normally Rambo, and that type of thing, and he was like the guy in the suit, And somebody said this was a ripoff of Lethal Weapon. I'm like, bullshit. If anything, Lethal Weapon is a ripoff of 48 Hours because like any buddy movie, like
it's a formula they follow.
It's got nothing, and like. And you got like, this is when 80s action was great. Like the end scene where they're in the quarry, like those shots in that action sequence, they had 11 cameras going, and they can only do each shot once because it was too dangerous. That's how you're making a fucking action movie with fucking stuntmen that mean something because
with real heavy equipment.
They cannot get it wrong. You listen, you got to do this, this, and this, and this. And you can only do it one time because if you don't, then we can't use the shot. It's like, but they did it, and it was the best thing ever. And I did like the fight at the end. Some of you guys were complaining about the fighting. Yeah, Brian James against Cash was kind of lame. It was a little short, and then you got the late great David Leah, who was in every 90s direct-to-video martial arts action movie, taking on Stallone at the end. I thought that was a nice touch, and they had a good fight. I thought, you could always complain that there was like editing and stuff like in the fast.
It's the edit cut.
It is. It's the way it was, but I still enjoyed it. I thought they had great chemistry together. I mean, the shower scene, he's like, hey, soap. And don't flatter yourself. I love that line. That's the best thing. Yeah, it's like, or he's like, hey, I hear they opened the gym up at 5. You could start pumping early. And he's like, and he does it. I love that part too. And they just have great chemistry. Terry Hatcher was the hottest thing ever. She comes out on that dance study, and you're just like, then she starts banging on the freaking percussion. I'm like, I'm in love. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, what is going on right now? And then, like I said, just to this day, and like I was going through the IMDb with all the problems and everything, and then wanted to make a serious movie. I'm like, no, this movie was perfect just the way they made it. I mean, it was tongue in cheek. It was them having fun with it. And if Kurt Russell hated this movie, he sure like he was having a fucking fun time making it. Or he's the greatest actor ever because he was great at it, and he was having the best time ever. And I mean, I'm gonna be short and sweet. I'm like, I gave it a 5 out of 5. I rated it on Fandango at home because I had it on digital and I never rated it. And I was like, yeah, it's perfect for me because I enjoy it to this day. I love it. I have it on Blu-ray. I have it. I mean, it's just. What are you gonna do?
It's just a fun movie. The thing is, whenever we talk about it now, and like we're seeing it from our perspective now in our 40s, and I was like, yeah, well, but that's now. But back then, it was fucking awesome. You've seen the vehicle with guns.
This is 80s action, and when you're a product of the 80s, because I was born in 72, so the 80s was in my wheelhouse. I'm like, this is 80, and like I'll show it to anybody and defend it to my dying breath. I mean, this is. If you don't like it, well, then you don't like action movies because it's fun. It kicks ass. Yeah, I mean, we're talking about the R rating, and it could have been. So what? I mean, yeah, you had some blood squibs at the end when they're shooting the guys.
Oh, there's blood in it.
You get blood squibs and stuff like that. But I did kind of like, because a lot of stuff ended up on the editing floor because of all the changes they were making. But if you watch a trailer, there looked like there was this real badass scene with Stallone with an automatic shotgun on the street shooting holes into cars, which I was like, you should have left that in there because that looked like gold. So that's the one. If I had a nitpick, that was probably it. If you watch the trailer, go watch the trailer. And the thing was, they didn't know each other. They only knew each other through, from the papers, and because they knew that each of them was the super cops in the West End and East End. Because if you notice, when they first meet, Kurt Russell's like, "Hey, you know me, huh?" It's like they know each other, but they never
I've heard
talked.
of you. Yeah.
Exactly. And then and I liked how it didn't take long for them to get accustomed to each other and like each other, because sometimes you watch a movie and it's like the last 30 minutes, oh, now we finally like each other. It's like they got together right away, and they bonded through the prison, and they were just having fun with each other, and like I said, Stallone. And again, somebody was saying about the scene with the truck, that was a homage to Jackie Chan, and Jackie Chan took the zip line scene from this and put it in Super Cop as a homage to Tango and Cash. So
I love Super Cop. That's one of my favorite films.
So Jackie Chan, he was like, he was honored, and that's why he did that. So that's kind of.
They've said Stallone's a huge Jackie Chan fan.
Yeah,
like he tried to get him into Stallone.
Yes,
he was supposed to be in Expendables 3. I have the original script to Expendables 3, and Jackie Chan's character was actually called 3D. And like,
I would have loved that, but
the character's kind of shite though. So because they wouldn't get him in, he didn't want to do it, and that's why they brought Antonio Banderas in instead, and it was supposed to be Jackie Chan's character. So there's a bit of trivia for you.
But just going on the IMDb, you guys got to check this stuff out, because all the actors that were considered to play Gabriel Cash, Michael Biehn, Pierce Brosnan, Kevin Costner, Harrison Ford, Richard Gere, Mel Gibson, Don Johnson, Michael Keaton, Ray Liotta, Liam Neeson, Michael Nouri, Gary Oldman, Robert Patrick, Bill Paxton, Ron Perlman, Dennis Quaid, Gary Sinise, Bill Willis, and James Woods.
Everyone.
Everybody that was making movies in the 80s was considered to play this role. But I'm so happy he got it. And I'm so mad that for whatever reason, whether it was the behind the scenes stuff or, them two, I would have taken 15 more of them in these movies. And it's a shame that it was only a one-off. That's my only gripe.
Oh, I'm sure the studio was happy it made money, but like Steven was saying, after you go through the headache of production, they're like, look, we're not doing that again.
And and then firing the directors, and then Stallone firing the director of photography. But I think that
happened a lot with Kurt Russell, because like it happened with Tombstone as well.
Yeah, but the funny thing is, like, the lines, they took shots at people. Like, they took a shot at what's her name, Brigitte Nielsen, who he had gotten divorced from.
Danish.
When he doesn't say "I hate Danish," that was in regards. They said it because of her, so that was pretty cool. I was like, that was cool. But yeah, I can't say enough about this movie. I watch it all the time. I mean, not a month goes by where I'm not kicking out the Tango and Cash. And then I watched it today when my kid was at school on my projector in 200 inches. And I was like, oh my God. I was like,
theater.
I was like back in the movie theater, back in the 89 watching it. I was smiling the entire time watching this movie. All right, I'm done. The Love Fest is over. I'm good.
Well, you can only review the movie that we watched.
Yeah.
Like,
definitely.
But I don't want. I didn't like. There was a time where I kind of wanted this, but then I was like, no, I don't want to see the darker movie, because what they did was great. It's the way it should have been. The darker movie probably would have been as much fun. Yeah, you probably would have had some more hardcore violence and some more action and stuff like that. But
maybe it would have sucked in other ways, though. Like
exactly, yeah. So why bother? Just enjoy the movie.
Coulda, shoulda, woulda.
Give Stuart Bird an Oscar like 40 years later. Be like, you deserve this.
I mean, you only think about that stuff if you don't like the movie. Like, I watched Tango and Cash. I watched again a few days ago before this. I thought, well, this is friggin' just as awesome as I always knew it was awesome.
Right.
So I didn't sit there thinking, you know what? This was pretty awesome, but man, it could have been better. Let me see. Oh shit, the production was all messed up. Like that happens with stuff like, Suicide Squad, right? You watch like, okay, this is a bullshit movie.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, well, maybe there was a better version. Well, again, even if there could have been a better movie, I have to review the one that I watched. I can't review the one that may have been or what I made up in my mind. It's like, I thought Tango and Cash was friggin' awesome. I saw it, I had it on VHS. I thought it was friggin' awesome on VHS. And then I thought it was awesome on DVD. Then I thought it was awesome on Blu-ray, and it's awesome now. Like I couldn't even tell that there was problems, and I didn't know any of this background stuff.
That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah,
I was like, it looked cool to me. They were having fun. I was thinking, why wouldn't they make more? And then I'm hearing all these guys, oh yeah, everyone hated it. Kurt Russell's urinated on the movie, and Stallone went to a place that had a poster and burned it down, and all this crazy shit's going on. I'm like, really? I'm like, oh, well, maybe they should just get over it and be like, you know what? I had a shit. This is the other thing too. it's a job, right? It's like you became an actor because you wanted to become one. It's like you didn't be like, oh, what's in the job market here? Oh shit, look, there's garbage man or actor. I guess I'll do acting, but they had a rough time. Okay, well that was years ago. You can come back. Like you know what I mean? Like, just come back. Like people come back for movies. It's fine. You had a shitty time. I'll make another one.
You read this stuff and you're like, man, just eat a fucking Snickers. Jesus Christ,
I agree.
It's that bad. Just eat a Snickers.
Eat a Snickers.
Listen, here's the best way to describe this movie. I woke up today with all the shit that's going on in America now. I woke up, I hugged my daughter, took her to school, watched this fucking movie, and thought fucking nothing about anything. I was just like, it's 1989, and that's the best I can say about it. So, yeah,
I think
America's not on fire, John.
It's not. I know, but it's like every time you go on social media now, I'm just
I just love reading the comments.
I was like, I'm not gonna get into it, but I'm just like,
no.
It's just very entertaining to watch.
And again, it's cliche, but it's like, can we all just get along? That's all. I was like, can we? No, I know, Charlie. It's not gonna.
You definitely don't want to hear my opinions from a Canadian perspective who doesn't give a crap. You don't want to hear my.
I didn't say it. I didn't want to get it. I just said that's the biggest compliment I can give this movie because I watched it today and. I was
it's
like
a
for
pure
an hour and
escape,
49 minutes. And then you get the song
movie.
at the end from Hardline, Best of What I Got. I love that song. I have it on my Spotify. And it just makes you want to watch more 80s action movies. That's all.
Hell yeah.
I was going to say, actually, the same with Scott Sheik. I was thinking about watching the tape version off TV. That was the first time I saw it was on VHS. My buddy Nick, he introduced me to a whole lot of action movies growing up. And we recorded, I think it was on ITV or something, and they always cut, they had like commercials, and then they cut out all the swearing and nudity. It's funny, they cut out the swearing and the nudity, and they do that in America as well, but they'll keep some of the violence in. They're like, they'll show someone's head exploding, but they won't show somebody's.
Did they just, when they cut out the prevent, did they just cut out, did they put some stupid word in because of
I was
like,
going to say, is this not the fudge cut? Like, I'm pretty sure
there's like, well, yippee-ki-yay, Mr. Falcon.
Yeah. But whenever they say the F word, it's fudge. You fudging fudger.
Yeah, it was fudge, mother fudger, things like that.
Yeah. Mother fudger.
Usually a voiceover guy
just omit the sound. Don't put another word in there.
Yeah,
that's usually what they did. And they would just like,
exactly.
I've seen them clip them. Yeah,
because you know what they're saying, so it's fine. Even though you can't hear, it's like you still know.
And Steve, say the Big Lebowski. This is the best one of all time.
The Big Lebowski one is the best. So
I know this one.
The scene where John Goodman is like smashing the Corvette, and he's like, "This is what happens when you fuck a stranger in the ass." And he's like hitting it on the TV. It's like, "This is what happens when you find a stranger in the Alps."
And you're like, that doesn't mean anything at all.
You know what? Somebody got paid a lot of money to come up with that line to put in.
Big Lebowski, the edited version, it's getting a cult following as its own movie because it's so weird. There is so much vulgarity in that movie, and it's very casual, and it can't be removed. It's different in a movie where you're like, mother effer, we got framed, and that's it. It's not like but in Big Lebowski, the F word is used in casual conversation throughout the whole movie. And just, so like for them to edit it out and get out, they insert all these weird things. There's a lot of weird stuff. It's like that, just find the edited or the censored Big Lebowski. That's its own movie. That's going to come out on 4K special edition.
You got to get the TV edit of the Big Lebowski, man.
I'm going to get the that Demolition Man set that's coming out. I'm
thinking about getting it.
Is that from Umbrella or from Vinegar or from Arrow or from?
I think it's Arrow.
It's Arrow. Yeah, it's got like a whole bunch of stuff, right?
Yeah,
it gives you the seashells and everything.
I got this one today.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
The Trick or Treat.
I got.
Speaking of Kurt Russell, didn't they just do a Steelbook Escape from New York that came out? Yeah.
I mean, I've bought Escape from New York 455 times, so I'm done now. I bought the last one they did. They give you pins and posters. I can't. I can't. It's top 10. I can't. Like, I'm done. That's the last Escape.
There's so many times you can buy something, So, I mean, I gave Amanda my Blu-ray set of the Batman movies, which is why I got them on 4K. Otherwise, I wouldn't have bothered. But now I'm intrigued because I hear that the quality is very good. So I'm definitely looking forward to giving that.
I kept buying every different copy of Fury Road. Like I have the 3D version, the DVD, the Blu-ray, the 4K, the Steelbook. And it's just because, well, I don't have that particular one. The art's a little cooler on that one. But I didn't buy the box set with all of them because I was like, I have all of them. I just got to say no sometimes.
I said yes.
I said yes.
I remember Steve pre-warned me, but I was like, well, Steve, no, he doesn't know anything. And then I bought it, and boy, was that a big mistake. So everyone listen to Steve.
Not the new one though. The new
no, it was the first like 4K set of like the Mad Max movies. And like the picture and sound quality were okay, but there was no special features whatsoever. There was nothing, and I was like,
oh,
why the fuck did I get this? Yeah, so thanks, Steve.
I tried.
Listen to Uncle Steve.
Steve's over there going, I'm doing my part.
I did my part, man.
Doing the Lord's work.
Oh man.
So anything else? There's Tango and Cash. Fuck.
It's fucking awesome.
You know who's great in that movie, and he doesn't have a big part, is Michael Jeter, one of the unsung.
Yeah, he plays
from the 80s and 90s.
Audio dude.
Yeah, just having him there as the guy who's like, he's such a weaselly little guy, and he's got that mustache, and it's so perfectly. And he's just that guy who's like, and it's genius, I think, to say he was the one who created it, and then he authenticated his own creation of the fake.
Exactly. That was
he's the guy from Green Mile, right?
Green Mile.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And yeah, he's done a few things, but he's another guy who's like, you point at him, you're like, I've seen this guy before. He's been in 100 movies. I'm certain.
I think he was on Sesame Street or something. Some guy that didn't talk.
Yeah. Yep.
And
he was a silent character. Yeah.
I can't remember
one of his last
name.
films was Open Range. I love that movie. He was so great in that movie. He was so good in that movie.
Okay, yeah. So anyway, next week we're going to be talking about Land of Bad with Russell Crowe and which Hemsworth is it? Luke Hemsworth, Liam Hemsworth,
Liam Hemsworth.
Liam Hemsworth. That's right. Yeah, the one who's not Thor.
Yeah, and not the one that's starting to make action movies now. He's the third one's coming into the front.
The Hemsworth from Team U. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
But the movie itself, I'm looking forward to discussing. I've only watched it once, so I think I'm going to give it another little watch.
So I loaned it to everybody, right? Everyone already got. Everybody.
I have it on Blu-ray. Yeah,
so. I got my copy from you, J-Man. I will return it when I am done.
Yes,
also
when you're
Netflix.
done watching it, please send it back in the mail.
Yeah,
because I've already sent out all the copies in the mail. I don't have any more, so I hope everyone got their copies when I was sending them out the first time, because I've removed them from my.
Yep.
Yeah, that's right. Because he's in The Witcher. I stopped as soon as I heard that Cavill was leaving The Witcher. I stopped watching after season 2.
I was done.
I didn't.
I didn't even see season 2.
That was dumb.
I feel like they tried to be clever.
Well,
look, this episode takes place before the last one. Oh, interesting. I'm not watching this anymore.
No, but let's make the female characters more important than the main character from the books, because women, and you're just like, fuck off. And now nobody watches the show.
Yeah.
So
because of women.
That's just the way it is with so many things. And I don't like being one of these people that say stuff like that, but it's a fucking fact.
Yeah. Well, they're not The Witcher. Like,
no,
it's like Tango and Cash, but Terry Hatcher's the main hero. It's
exactly.
So, but then this isn't Tango and Cash. Then, but we're being cute. We're subverting your expectations. Yeah, I thought it was going to be good, and it was shit. So we definitely subverted them.
That's a good
original.
Yeah, blue dead bears, which is a great expression. A great Canadian expression. Anyway, on that classy note, oh my god, it's not even an hour yet. And we stayed pretty much on topic tonight too, didn't we?
We did. We didn't like having weird tangents tonight.
Oh wait, Star Wars
doing well, and you know,
James Bond. James Bond is dead.
We did say James Bond earlier because of Terry Hatcher. So
we were on top
of that was just like a little. It was we were combined. We were like combining with Tango Cash.
You mean it was topical for once?
Yes, it was going in with the conversation. We just didn't run off the road and start talking about something totally different.
You know, our ADD is not kicking in anymore. What can I say?
No. I know. Yeah,
what about
the medication's working? Oh, good.
You gotta don't forget to plan out the the general year in action, which is always the last stream of the
year. Yeah. I already know.
I'm coming up.
I don't know when you're going back to visit.
I go back on the 17th, and I'm back here on the 29th. So.
So what's that? So let's see here. So you're going on
When's
17th.
the last Wednesday of the year?
The last Wednesday of the year is the 25th.
Yeah, so that's not gonna. So it'll be the 11th then, if you want, and then if you want to do Batman Returns, that'll be the 4th or the 27th.
We'll do that. We'll do Land of Bad next week, and then maybe we could do Batman Returns after that.
So 13.
That's fine with me. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I can do Batman Returns right now.
All of us can.
I haven't seen
it
in a long time.
I'm not. Well, I could rewatch it just for the heck of it, but
I will.
I
will probably do it just to admire on 4K.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So I need to check with the girls when they're available. I know Antoinette's about to go away to Jamaica. Lucky her. So, but once she's back, then we will get that set up.
Just let us know.
Yeah. All right. Well, in that case, we'll just wrap it up then. There's no point in rapping on a whole load of shite for no reason.
We hit an hour. We're good.
Yeah, we're at the hour point. I'm like, right, you know what? My contract is clear. That's fine. And also the time change is fucked with me. I don't know about anybody else, but I'm super tired.
Yeah.
And you guys got your most anticipated 2025. You see, I need to even look. I don't even know what's coming out next year. I gotta look, see. Ballerina's definitely up there just to see John Wick back again.
Yeah, I think so.
And then I gotta look and see what else is even coming out.
We'll do it with our retrospective, and then we'll talk.
Yeah, that'll be part of it. Best of this, worth it, maybe some of the worst, and then stuff from anticipated for
stuff
next year.
we're hopeful for.
Yeah. We shall see. All right, guys. Well, thank you all for joining, as always, and we shall see you all next week. And remember, if you are watching, you are the Action League.